In storytelling, every character has a voice, a way of speaking, thinking, and expressing themselves that makes them feel alive. But many writers struggle with one challenge. All their characters sound the same. In this video, we are breaking down how to create strong, distinct character voices. Voices shaped by culture, personality, background, rhythm, and emotion. You will discover how to make readers instantly recognize who is speaking, how to build authenticity into dialogue, and how to bring your characters to life through the way they speak and think. Whether you are writing fiction, scripts, or classroom stories, this lesson will give you the tools to make your characters unforgettable. Let's get started and let's build voices that stay in the reader's mind long after the story ends. What is character voice? Character voice is the unique way a character speaks, thinks, and expresses themselves in a story. So it is the combination of choices that makes a character's words and thoughts identifiable theirs. It is not only what they say, but how they say it, the texture and pattern of their language. When voice is strong, a reader can often identify who is speaking from a single line of dialogue or a short paragraph of inner thoughts. Why character voice matters. A strong character voice isn't just decorative, it is one of the core engines that makes a story feel alive. Voice shapes how readers understand, connect with, and remember characters. Below is a deeper look at why characters' voice is so important with African focus context. It helps readers instantly recognize who is speaking. So a unique voice acts like a character's verbal fingerprint. Even without seeing their names, the reader should know who said the line. An example, imagine three characters in a Ghanaian village scene. An example, a young urban boy using Accra street slang. Chale, you dey bore me oo. Character voice matter because it also deepens character realism and personality. Voice reveals the inner world of the character, their fear, values, education, upbringing, and emotional states. In African storytelling, a Ghanaian trader in Makola market may sound fast-paced, witty, and street smart. It adds depth better than long description or backstory info dump. These instances also matters because it shapes how the story is experienced through dialogue and narration. Character voice controls the tone and mood of scenes. Dialogue and narration written in a strong voice can change how a reader feels about the story. It also adds authenticity through cultural, social, and emotional layers. So here, African characters often come from rich cultural background proverbs, humor, history, spirituality, social norms, and communal relationships. It allows you to infuse language mix, cultural expression, proverbs and poetic rhythm, community worldview, emotion tied to environment. These layers make the story feel grounded in a specific African context instead of surrounding generics. It also prevents characters from sounding the same. One of the biggest problems in beginners writing is that all characters talk like the author. Strong voice avoids this by ensuring character voice. 1. Reacts differently, speak differently, expresses emotion differently, uses their own logic and worldview. So in storytelling, Character voice is one of the most powerful tools for showing, not telling. Show, don't tell means letting the character's speech and thoughts demonstrate who they are instead of explaining them. Let us look at elements that shape a character voice. A character voice doesn't appear magically. It is formed by key elements in their identity and experience. Understanding these elements help you craft dialogue and narration that feels real, grounded. So when you are developing a character voice, this element shapes their voice and you cannot take away their background. So a character's background, culture, ethnicity, region, family structure, religion, social class shapes how they speak, what they value, and how they understand the world. So it influences how they speak. For instance, a cultural influence, let's say a character from the northern part of Ghana may use Dagbani or Mampuli as its expression. And when it comes to family and class influence, a child raised in a straight family may speak politely and carefully. That is the background of the character's voice that you are developing. You need to capture it so that it will be real. In an African coastal settings, a girl may speak differently from a place or a character staying in an estate or a well-developed settings. Another element to consider is the age of the character. So the age could be children, teens, and adults. Know that these three people or this category of people speak differently when it comes to vocabulary and rhythm. Don't expect a child to use heavy vocabulary. So either the child will use short sentences, simple vocabulary, or literally understanding of events, and also that child having an emotional swings. When it comes to teenagers, a teenager may use slangs or show rebellion, okay, and fast rhythm and a socially influenced speech, that is music, internet, or trends. And when the character is an adult, expect more structured speech, heavier with responsibilities, and a careful choice of words. So age creates natural variation that prevent characters from sounding alike. So the elements here is you are making the characters sound differently. You are not making them the same. Another element to consider is your character age and knowledge. Education level significantly shapes how a character describes things, expresses ideas, and solves problems. A highly educated character will go for a longer sentences. The character will be analytical, descriptive languages, and a technical vocabulary. An example is a professor. A professor might use a sentence like this. This rainfall patterns indicates a shift in atmospheric behavior. An informally educated or streetwise character will make sure he practices a language or use a direct and sharp expressions and also including it with street slangs. As we use the rain as an example for the professor, this example, when you cannot leave out the character's personality, okay? So when developing a character's voice, personality also plays a very major role, okay? So that this comprises of how confident the character is, his or her shyness, how sarcastic the person is, angry, whether the character is elegant. So this personality will also shape their tone of voice. In short, a character's voice should reveal their inner nature. When we talk of personality, it is the inner nature of us. So your character, if your character is a confidence one, there should be a bold statement in his expressions. And if the character is a shy one, you should speak in soft and unsure expressions. And when he or she is also a sarcastic one, he should be mocking in tones. And if the character is as well as a peaceful or a calm one, know that the expression will be slow or an even pace speech and a gentle tone. And if the character portraying an angry one, the speech should be short, blunt in sentences, and a harsh tone. Voices must reflect personality, not just the event. Another element you should include in the character voice is emotions or mood. Your character must have life. Okay, the character must have life. So emotion is how people speak differently when they are calm, excited, angry. A character voice changes depending on how they feel at the moment. Don't expect a calm character to be speaking anyhow. They will control their sentences, they will have clear thinking, and they will have a soft rhythm in their speech. That is a calm character for you in a mood that he or she find itself. When the character is excited, expect a fast-paced speech, a higher energy, and repetitive expressions. And when it is angry, a short burst, harsh vocabulary, and interruptions. When the character is anxious, expect the character to hesitate, be in a doubtful words, and an even rhythm. An example is a character receive unexpected news. When the character is calm, he might react, okay, you, let me process this. And when excited, you say, hey, are you serious? Tell me everything. And when angry, he might respond as, what nonsense is this? And when anxious set in, the character will portray or project this. Wait, are you sure? What does this mean? Should I worry? So emotions always shift voices naturally. Another element to consider is the culture and environment. Environment always influences us. We might find ourselves in a local expression, proverbs, idioms, and rhythm of speech add authenticity to our daily speech or our daily dialect. So when it comes to storytelling, Africa is rich with languages, idioms, proverbs, and environmental references. These elements give authenticity to character voice. Local expression in Ghana, that is chale, so these are more of a friendly what expressions among peers. You could hear chale, ow. So culture also influences the expression of a character voice. Most African storytelling often uses proverbs to express wisdom. In Akan, where I come from, the rain does not fall on one roof alone. Proverbs that Akan mostly uses to express wisdom. And then the environmental influences is where characters speaks differently based on where they live. We know that where we live always or times influences us. A desert community uses metaphor about sand and survivor, and a rainforest community uses imagery of trees and animals, while a coastal community uses sea-related language. So a fisherman in Elmina in the central region of Ghana might say, "The sea is whispering today. Better we stay ashore." See that environment shapes the poetry of a character's voice. In a nutshell, understanding these elements will help you craft characters who feel believable, culturally grounded, and unique. Types of character voice. A character's voice appears in different forms depending on whether they are speaking, thinking, or narrating. Each type gives the readers a different window into the character's mind and personality. Below is a detailed breakdown of all three types with African examples and practical insight. 1. Dialogue voice. Dialogue voice is how a character speaks out to other characters. This is the most visible or audible form of voice in a story. Dialogue voice is shaped by a word choice. The vocabulary your character uses reveals background, education, and culture. An example: a Ghanaian herbalist may say, "Bring the leaves, let me prepare the remedy." Or a university student may say, "Let me analyze this first." Or a market boy may say, "Chale, hurry before the prices changes." So same language, different words. And B, sentence length. Fast talkers use short, quick bursts. Calm or traditional characters may speak in long poetic lines, or highly educated characters may use structured sentences. An example under sentence length are: a young Lagos hawker may speak a rapid fire slang, or a Maasai elder might speak in long, metaphoric sentences. So that's an example. Let's come to accent or dialect. Here you choose words carefully or you use them carefully. So dialect add authenticity but must be readable and respectful. You don't need to write heavy phonetic spelling. A few key expressions can show dialect. Example: the Ghanaian pidgin. You dey kai last week. Okay, so use dialogue to flavor, not to overwhelm. So when you are using dialect, depending on the dialect you are using, choose it carefully because dialect is more to a particular people. Okay, it's not a universal language. It's something colloquial that friends or community use. So what you might say, somebody from other parts of your region or district or community might not understand. So don't overuse it. Choose it carefully. And then speech habits and patterns. Each character may have a unique way of speaking. Some may repeat phrases, others will speak slowly, others might speak too fast, others too may pause often, and others may also use proverbs. So, an example: a Yoruba grandmother may always use proverbs before giving advice, or a neighbor's teenager may begin with every sentences with "I think." This habit make voices immediately recognizable. Another type of character voice is interior voice. So under interior voice is how the character thinks internally. So this appears in inner monologue, narration from the character's point of view, third person limited. So point of view is POV. Point of view is POV. And thoughts between action. So internal voice is crucial because characters often think differently from how they speak. Why interior voice matters? It reveals a character's fear, doubt, motivations, secret jokes, hidden pain, insecurities, judgment. So let's look at examples. An example is spoken aloud. Okay, I will go. Interior voice. Hey, I knew this trouble would find me today. Why didn't I stay home? Okay, this an example from the Ghanaian perspective for you. So you can choose any perspective or any settings that will suit your character voice. Okay, so dialogue shows the outside, while the interior voice shows the inside. Another type is narrative voice. When the character is the narrator, so when a story is written in first person, that is I, the entire narration is filtered through that character's voice. So this means the story tone, the descriptions, the pacing, the humor or seriousness, the worldview all belong to the narrator. The writer disappears the narrator because the writer disappears the narrator becomes the storyteller. So let's look at an example using the African settings. A Nigerian taxi driver narrating, Lagos no dey smile, the city will test you, grab your shirt, squeeze your pocket, but somehow you will still laugh at the madness. So the narrative voice here is loud, humorous, full of personality. While we are using Ethiopian example here. A shy Ethiopian girl narrating, I do not speak much. People think silence means wickedness. I do not speak much. People think silence means weakness. But silence has saved me more than words. Soft, introspective, poetic. A Ghanaian fisherman narrating, the sea is an old woman. Sometimes she laughs, sometimes she roars. On the day I lost my brother, she said nothing at all. So here, cultural, symbolic, and emotional is find here. So narrative voice always matter. That is, the first person narration gives intimacy. That is, readers enter the character's mind. It also brings out the bias. The narrator may lie or exaggerate. It also produces a very unique worldview. That is the cultural and personal expressions and a strong emotional experience. That is, readers feel what the narrator feels. In all, a strong narrative voice can carry an entire novel by itself. So always take note of that when you are writing. Techniques for developing distinct character voices. Developing strong, memorable character voices is a deliberate skill. Below are practical techniques every writer can use to craft voices that feel real, unique, and culturally. 1. Listen to real people. The best inspiration for character voice is real world speech. Every community has its own rhythm, slang, and emotional style. So, what you have to do is observe how different people talk in your community, workplace, or public spaces. It could be that you sit in public transport. So observe and listen to how the driver and his conductor interact with passengers. Okay. And observe conversation in marketplaces. Also listen to elders during family gathering. Note how they use proverbs. And most assuredly or importantly, pay attention to how children in your neighborhood or school talk. And also observe how educated professionals speak in office or university. So when you listen to real people, you come out with a best character voice. And when you are listening to, you need to watch out for pacing, humor, word choice, fillers, that is the you see or I mean, or and code switching, that is English plus tree, Yoruba or Pidgin, as well as tone. So rare people speak with color, emotion, mistakes, and rhythms, ingredient that they make fiction feel alive. Use vocabulary that fits the character. Different people describe the same situation from different world of understanding. An example describing the sea. A fisherman describes the sea differently from a scientist. Okay. So how a fisherman would describe the sea wouldn't be the same as a scientist or a biologist describing the sea. So let's give an example of how different people would describe the sea. One, the fisherman. The sea is restless today. The waves are refusing to listen. While the marine biologist, the current is strong and the water temperature has shifted. While a child will say the water is angry. A tourist will say the way looks beautiful but scary. So you see that there is the same scene but different voices. And vocabulary always reveals education, background, profession, and worldview. So this is a tip for you that when you are developing a character voice, this and are using vocabulary that fits the character. That is, don't give all characters your own vocabulary as the author. Let each character speak from their world. 3. Adjust rhythm and sentence length. Sentence rhythm is one of the strongest elements of voice. Fast, short sentences equal to energetic or anxious. Long, flowing sentences equal to thoughtful or educated. Okay, so short, fast sentences will show excitement, fear, anxiety, street smart characters, energetic personalities. Example here is move now, don't look back. While a long flowing sentences will show deep thinking, education, calmness, older or wiser characters, or poetic personalities. So this is an example here. When the harmattan wind blows across the savannah, carrying the dust of forgotten stories, I am reminded of how small we are in the hands of time. So know that rhythm creates mood. It also separates one character from another. For add cultural flavor, African storytelling is rich with proverbs, idioms, musical speech rhythm, and expressive interjections. So proverbs, idioms, and speech rhythm from the character's cultural background. So you use that to develop or create the character voice. So when used wisely, this creates voice authenticity. So these are tools to use. Local proverbs, ethnic idioms, traditional expressions, cultural reaction, a, ish, ow, aki, or reading from oral traditions. An example is from where I come from, that's an Akan grandmother. If the lizard of the housestead fails to do the nodding, the stranger will not do it for him. Okay, so that is an example for you. So these touches bring cultural grounding without stereotyping. 5. Give each character speech habits. Speech habit makes character instantly recognizable even without name tags. And here we have the common habits. 1. Repeating certain phrases. 2. Starting and ending sentences with specific words or using humor or sarcasm. And also speaking very formally or speaking very casually. Code switching often, that is mixing dialects or languages, and also using filler words, and then talking in questions. So an example would be a character who repeats a phrase. That is, you see, the thing is, you see the thing is he or she has repeated a phrase. So use before every explanation. And sarcastic character will say, "Oh, great, just what I needed." While a formal character will say, "I would appreciate it if you clarified your statement." While a conductor will say, "Accra, circle, circle, last stop." So speech habit helps the reader instantly recognize who is speaking. 6. Let their personality guide their voices. A bold character speaks boldly. A quiet character speaks carefully. A proud character speaks with confidence. So here, voices must reflect who the character is on the inside. While a bold character will go for a direct speech and confident statement and little hesitation. Okay, so an example is, if nobody will say it, I will. That is a bold character for you. While a quiet character will use few words, soft tone, and a careful phrasing. And here an example is, I. You pause for a while and then continue with, I think I should wait. Meanwhile, a proud character has a very strong declaration in his speech, elevated vocabulary speech, and a firm tone speech. Example is, I do not bend to pressure. That's a proud character for you here. While harmonious character will always joke, will always use playful words and being sarcasm. Okay, so example is, if this plan fails, remember you said it first. So personality creates voice consistency. Common mistakes writers make. Mistake number one: all characters sound the same. And this hurts very much. That when every character uses the same vocabulary, rhythm, and attitude, the story flattens. Readers can't distinguish speakers without dialogue, tag, or narration, and characters fail to feel real. So when you make your characters sound the same, readers can't distinguish who the speaker is. So how do we fix this? Give each character a background, age, education, and personality profile. Also, choose one or two consistent voice makers per characters. That is a phrase, rhythm, or favorite proverbs. And here, make sure you read dialogue aloud and assign voices if two characters sound alike. Change one. Example of mistakes that make characters sound the same is, let's go, he said. Yes, let's, she said. I'm ready, he said. Me too, she said. So better write it this way. Let's go, comma, he said. All clipped and quick. She lingered, comma, smoothing her skirt. Give me 2 minutes, she murmured. So always put them in quotes. Another mistake that writers make when developing a character voice is using overwriting accents or dialect, rely on heavy phonetic spellings, and it hurts a lot. Phonetic dialect can be hard to read, often feels caricatured, and can come across as disrespectful or lazy if you use without nuance. So please don't insult your readers. Use just a simple spelling or a simple word so that your readers will love your work and they will also respect your work. So this is how you can fix it. Use a few key idioms or local words to suggest dialect instead of full phonetic spelling. Also, show dialect through rhythm, vocabulary, and sentence structure rather than odd spelling. Also, keep readability a top priority. An example, if you are using slangs such as or a common language that you share among your friends or a dialect commonly used among your friends. What are doing? Question mark. He asks, is throat full of water? You don't have to use such a language. You don't have to use it. You better make your language clear. That is how you dey. He asks, smiling. The vowel held like a long rain. This one, your readers understand it better than the previous one. Mistake number 3, using stereotype instead of authentic voices. Stereotype flatten characters into predictable, offensive type. They break reader trust and rob stories. So how do we fix it? By fixing it, you need to research life experiences, not just clicks. Mix traits. Give a market vendor an unexpected education or a wealthy character more humble habit. And also use specific, that is a unique habit, rare dialogue fragments, rare local idioms instead of generic troops. So this is a mistake. The wise old African who only speaks in proverbs. So you can better it to sound. He used proverbs sometimes, yes, but he also harmed modern pop songs and scolded his grandchildren for their phone use. Mistake number 4, using dialogue only for information and not personality. When dialogue exists just to dump facts, that is exposition, it becomes wooden and serves the plot at the expense of character. Readers get told what's happening rather than feeling it. So how do we fix this? By fixing it, let the character reveal facts through conflict, hesitation, or their reactions. Also, embedded exposition in action and interior voice. Use subtext, implying things rather than stating them. An example, mistake info dump. So let's look at this sentence, the mistake. We lost the boat 2 years ago in the storm and now the bank wants the loan back. So instead of info dump, you can make it better by incorporating a character and information. So this is a better one. He rubbed the scar on his palm. Storm took more than the boat. He said, bank still calls. They don't hear the sea in my voice. So this is better. Mistake number 5, forgetting emotional tone. That is flat emotional register. Even if words are correct, ignoring emotional tone makes a line misfire. Anger reads as polite. Grief reads as neutral. Tone carries subtext and stakes. So how can we fix this? By fixing this, match sentence rhythm and punctuation to emotion. That is short, choppy sentences for anger, long, drifting lines for sadness. Use sentence fragments and sensory details to show feeling. Also read lines aloud. Does the tone match the emotion you intend? That is, read lines aloud. Does the tone match the emotion you intend? So this an example that making the tone flat. That is, I am sad you left, she said. This is a flat statement. So what you have to do is make sure you show emotions in the sentence. So her voice broke on the last word. You left, she whispered, and the house is too quiet now. So this shows that there is an emotional tone in the voice character. These are practical checklists for stronger voices. Does each speaking character have at least one unique voice marker? 2. Are dialects, accents suggested with idioms rather than heavy phonetics? 3. Are characters complex, in brackets, no single traits, stereotypes? 4. Does dialogue reveal character as well as plot? Does emotional tone match intention and scene stake. And lastly, read dialogue aloud. Is it natural and distinct? After you've done the practical checklist for stronger voices, these are quick exercises for you. You can take your time and do them at your own free time. So exercise number 1, scene 1, 3 voices. Write the same scene. Example, buying bread, asking for direction from 3 different characters with different personalities. An example, buying bread from a roadside. The goal for this question is to help students understand how voices change with personality, background, and cultural identity. Exercise 2, remove the name tags. Write dialogue between 2 characters. Let someone read it without character names and see if they can tell who is who. An example, a teenage boy in Accra will not speak like a 50-year-old herbalist from northern Ghana. So in this question, the goal is to test whether your character voices are strong and distinct enough to stand alone. Exercise 3, Eternal Voice Diary. Write a diary entry from a character's point of view to discover their inner voice. An example, a diary entry from a young Fulani girl traveling with her cattle will sound different from a law student in Kumasi preparing for exams. So the goal here is to discover how a character thinks, not just how they talk. A reminder of what we've done so far. So a powerful character voice is one of the strongest tools a writer can use to bring a story to life. It is the difference between characters who feel flat and forgettable and characters who feel like real people whispering in the reader's ear. A strong character voices make stories memorable. Readers rarely remember every plot details, but they always remember characters who speak with authenticity, humor, pain, pride, or personality. So think about stories where voices stay with you long after you finish reading. Also, when character sounds real and unique, readers connect deeply. Remember that when you are developing a character voice, it is not just fancy words, you are making it real. A strong voice is not created by using big grammar or complicated vocabulary. It comes from clarity of personality, not linguistic decoration. At the end of the day, character voice is personality on the page. When your character sounds real, readers connect. If this lesson helped you, like the video, subscribe to Elevate Learning Hub, and comment below with the character voice you are developing. See you in the next lesson. Thank you for watching.